It's Sheree Murray and her son Jace. They are delegates from New York. Now, Sheree, this is not your first convention, right?
No, it's not. I was here in 2016 in Cleveland, Ohio.
But this is Jace's first convention.
Really? This is actually my first convention. This is the first time my mom, Chevy, has taken me to a Trump convention.
So tell me a little bit about what you experienced today. What did you think of today's event?
So I thought that today I thought I had to sit there and just watch a boring thing, and the only thing I wanted to do was see Trump actions. But now when I came here, I saw so many speeches, so many people talk about Trump and have God and was guiding him 2 days ago on Saturday, because a potential assassinator was going to shot him. So and he moves in the perfect direction, so he hit his ear. And today when he was walking in, I saw the paper on his ear. I saw bacon or when he went to the hospital.
So what did you think personally whenever you saw him?
I thought that God blessed him, that he's still alive, and that assassinator was very wild, and he had no right to be doing this. And this was a martyr. It was going to be a martyr as he would not have known.
That little boy speaks for all of us. He had a very heavy accent, but what you could hear him say was that God blessed Donald Trump. And I think every single one of us agrees. But by the grace of God, Donald Trump would be dead. But instead, he made a triumphant, a shocking, an emotional appearance at the RNC last night. Here was his entrance.
A powerful moment. Former President Trump makes his first public appearance since narrowly surviving an assassination attempt. He greeted the crowd on the very first night of the Republican National Convention as God Bless the USA played in the background. It was very touching, very emotional. Watch.
Obviously, I couldn't play his theme song from Lee Greenwood because of YouTube, but you could see the important part. Just days after a would-be assassin tried to take Donald Trump's life, he entered the RNC to a thunderous applause. But if you watch the video, there was something very different. Actually, there were a couple things very different. You could see it in his face immediately. I'm not talking about the bandage on his ear. You could see that he was a man walking alone. Just a few days ago, he emerged from the assassination attempt as somewhat of a superhero. But last night, he was a man. Last night, he was a grandfather. Last night, he was a father. Last night, he was a husband. Last night, he showed the vulnerability of being a man.
Just looking at him, he was taken back at the moment, and just to see that patch when he could very well be dead today if it weren't for the grace of God.
We were all waiting on J.D. Vance to come up to the Fox studio, which was there in the convention center. And when he came out, everyone just turned to the stage.
You could see it in his face. This was a different Donald Trump.
We were trying to find him in the audience, and he came up through the audience and went to go sit in the box with all of his family. When he was walking up the stairs to get to that box, you could tell he was very emotional.
It's a side of Donald Trump I haven't seen in any of his appearances going back to his presidency. There was an air, just an aura of vulnerability.
And then you had God Bless the USA playing. Lee Greenwood gave a little monologue and talked about how this man was not supposed to be here. He almost lost his life.
Look at Donald Trump Jr. There's actually tears in his eyes. Don't tell me that this family didn't go through a harrowing experience over the last couple days. It was probably much worse than we even know. I'm sure there's some information that the family has in regards to what happened that we don't even know yet. It may come out, it may not, but I just looked at and see the look on his face. It's admiration, it's emotion, I almost lost my dad.
The whole crowd erupted. You can see Donald Trump Jr. looks a little emotional there too, and that's when he was going up the stairs, the president.
No, and it's different for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, with all due respect, is a different guy than he was 4 days ago.
Absolutely. This guy 4 days ago didn't have someone try to take his life. Now he's 4 days away from having someone take a shot at him. And then it hit him. It hit him in his ear. He lost a piece of his ear. He found out as much money as he's had, as much success as he's had. The lawsuits didn't mean anything. Being convicted didn't mean anything. In this regard, he almost lost what he can't buy his way back from. He can't hire an attorney to help you get your life back. This man almost got killed.
Because, you know, as he said, as he told the New York Post, and we reported yesterday, Donald Trump told him on the flight out to Milwaukee, he said, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead. He got a new lease on life. And when you look at the expression when he's going up, you know, I think it was John Podhoretz tweeted out, it looks like something on Donald Trump's face he'd never seen, and that was gratitude.
I'm sure the guy has had gratitude before. Maybe the media hasn't noticed it. But I don't think it was the type of gratitude that they were thinking. I don't think it was gratitude in the form of, oh, I'm thankful. I think it was, wow, I am really blessed. There is no other explanation. None. You could search on Twitter. You could search on YouTube. You can see every rifleman. You can see every sniper. You can hear everybody talk about it. And nobody can give you an answer as to why this guy is still alive. We're talking inches. We're talking him moving his head. Don't tell me that didn't have a profound impact on how this man felt walking out into public for the first time. And it's also probably pretty scary.
I just think it's a guy who has a different point of view now. And it's like, I almost didn't see tonight, and I'm looking at it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So a couple of things stand out. Number one, talking to Dr. Ronnie Jackson will be on. He says that it's a point in the year, there's a part in the year where all you have to do is touch it, it bleeds again. So you need that thing, so you can't manipulate it. It's one of those scabs. It's such just that part of the year. Number two, this is usually ceremonial. There's so much drama. So with
just look at his face. Look at his face. That's not the same guy we saw before Saturday afternoon. This is a guy who knows I'm lucky to be alive. And I'm telling you, it has to be somewhat psychologically to walk out amongst all these people and realize these people love me here. And not that he wasn't loved at the actual event, but somebody took a shot at him. And I'm just wondering if he's thinking, I'm looking up at, am I really secure here? Even though I'm amongst family members and people who love me, am I really secure here? And the only reason he probably feels that comfort is because I'm sure he's been prayed over many times since Saturday afternoon.
J.D. Vance walking out on the floor, and I thought he's going to go up to the stage. He didn't. He just formally got nominated. Right. That's through. Donald Trump formally gets nominated. We knew he was going to be the nominee. That's true. And there was talk that he was going to walk out around.
And you got to know, if you lost a piece of your ear, which is one of the most tender parts on your body, he's probably in a crap load of pain too.
4:30 local time, and they said, no, we pushed it to tonight. Then when he popped up on the big screen before actually walking out on the floor, people went crazy. And then you think about the drama of...
Look at the look on his face. That's not a Donald Trump that you're used to seeing. That is a very humbled Donald Trump.
What else is taking place? What's that speech going to be like on Thursday? And also, what's going to be the reaction on the other side?
Even the liberal media, like CBS, happened to notice the emotion that was coming from, that was emanating from the RNC last night.
Tony, I have to say, I was watching it at home last night. I felt the emotion sitting in my bedroom coming through the TV screen. I can't imagine what it was like on the floor. Tell us, what was it like?
Yeah, Gail, it was really palpable, and I'll tell you what happened. I had climbed into the stands for my own better view of the moment, anticipating it, and I was in the box directly next to the president's, and it was electric there for the Trump faithful, more like a pop concert than a presidential campaign, and the president was there with that bandage on his right ear, which signaled to the crowd just how close they had come to losing him entirely. People were notably hushed at the first sight of the former president, then cheering, then chanting, including "fight, fight," the words that Trump himself seemed to say moments after he was wounded on Saturday.
With all of the uproar about his security detail, did you notice anything different last night? I want you to take a look at something. Look closely at what happened last night. This is Trump's detail from last night. Number one, there's a lot more people. Number two, you can see it. These are big men. There's no women there right now. Nope, there's no little women part of his security detail. All of these guys are big, hulking men. And there's a whole lot of them. I mean, a whole lot of them. You could just see they basically formed a wall as he was walking into the arena. That is the type of security detail he should have had Saturday. But who knows what's going on with this Secret Service director. We're hearing so many things at this point. It's absolutely scary. But at least this time, when he walked into the arena for the RNC, you can see he had Rambo-type security. Every single one of those guys was bulky, big and tall, and I'm sure armed to the hilt. And they weren't going to let anything happen to Donald Trump. I mean, look at it. It's an absolute wall walking down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 12 guys right there around him, all the way around him, making sure he would be safe coming into the arena. But the good news and the great news for Trump and Trump supporters is that as vulnerable as he looked in that arena, as much as he looked on his face, the pain that was still on his face, the pain from, you could see in Don Jr.'s face, the trepidation of going out back into public again, you're not going to hold a man like Donald Trump down. And people know it. The polls are showing it, and everyone's now beginning to see this race could be over.
So I find it thrilling.
Tucker, the past 24 hours has been wild, the amount of news that has come out. How did the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump change this election?
Well, Trump won.
Trump won. I've been saying that in my videos, and somebody got mad and said, don't say Trump won. Don't say it right now. People won't vote. No. The predicate, Trump won, but you got to get out there and vote. But I think the wave is going to be so big, it will be too big to rig. But all intents and purposes, at this point, if people get out there and vote, I think he won.
When that happened, because he displayed physical courage. And, if you live in a society where people are literally dating by remote, virtually, and working virtually, you can kind of lose touch with the physical reality of life.
Right.
But the unchanging truth is that leadership requires courage, and not just abstract courage, moral courage. But
leadership requires courage. If you remember back when Dementia Joe was running his campaign back in 2020, they hid him in the basement. They were hoping to do it again. But now the contrast is so great. It's such a big contrast with a feeble old man versus a man who is now basically assuming a mythical character status at this point. He got shot, and we're looking at this guy who can barely walk and talk. It's completely different.
Physical courage. Someone starts shooting a rifle. Like, are you going to wet yourself and start crying and run away? Or are you going to stand up and look at your people and raise your fist and say, fight? And very few people are capable of doing that, and he is.
Right now in our society, it makes me sick. We have so many soy boys out there who, they're all up in their feelings. Being a man became a bad word, became a bad thing to be. Toxic masculinity, they all screamed. There's nothing wrong with being a man. You have to be a man if you are a leader, and Donald Trump is showing that.
and therefore he wins. Because that supersedes all this nonsense that we talk ourselves into believing is important. No, the guy got shot in the face. He stood up with blood streaming down the side of his head, blood on his hands, and said, "Fight." Totally defiant. That's an act of undeniable courage that was not staged. You couldn't.
And I know some libs are out there saying it was staged. They're insane. So they staged a assassination attempt, got somebody killed, put a couple people in the hospital so they could get a photo op? I don't think so.
Stage that. And that man is the leader. And he wins. And by the way, notice what happens to everyone in the crowd. When a leader is strong, his people are calm. His courage gives them heart. That's true for a father, and it's true for a president. So yeah, he just won, and he deserves to win. Like that was the ultimate test.
It was the ultimate test indeed. The only person on Saturday who performed a even more exceeding test than Donald Trump was the man who was shielding his wife and daughter and gave his life to protect them. Other than that guy, Trump was the next man up. Trump took a shot. And if you notice what Tucker said, the crowd didn't run. There was no stampede. They were waiting to see, is this man going to get up? Please, dear God, have him get up. Tell us he's gonna be okay. And when he got up, he's like, fight. That's what a leader is. A guy shuffling around the White House, not able to keep his thoughts together, that's not a leader. It's not what men want. It's not what women want. It's not what America needs. And it's starting to appear that the voters took notice as well.
But this is our current CNN projection of where we are now. And look at this. If Donald Trump won what we have here, dark red states, solid Republican. Light red states, leaning Republican. If he won just those right there, he would already have the path to 270. He would have 272 electoral votes. Look what is different. We have Wisconsin as a toss-up. We have Pennsylvania as a toss-up, two critical states for Joe Biden. Michigan right now, another critical state for Biden, leaning Republican. Georgia, a state Biden flipped, leaning Republican. Arizona, a toss-up state. That was a state Biden flipped. Nevada, a state he won, leaning Republican. This is the dire strait for Joe Biden right now on the first night of the Republican convention. Tomorrow is 16 weeks to Election Day. 16 weeks from tomorrow, we count the votes. It is tough to change a map like this in that amount of time. And here's why Democrats are so worried, why so many Democrats are saying, Mr. President, please reconsider and get out of this race. Because right now, Trump is leading here. And Trump is leading here, narrowly, but he's ahead in those states. Trump is leading here. That's 312 electoral votes. Trump is leading in this Nebraska congressional district. Let me change it that way. Nebraska does it by congressional district. That's 313 electoral votes. And Democrats are warning that Trump may not be well ahead. It may still be margin of error. It might be a tie. But right now, Trump is competitive here. That's blue Virginia. That's blue New Hampshire. So the warnings to the White House are Donald Trump could conceivably, if the current dynamics in the race hold, get 330 or more electoral votes. That's what they believe.
In a moment of comedic relief, this priest delivered the perfect joke. It even put a smile on Trump's face.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Great pleasure to see President Donald Trump safe. And if I may, before the benediction, give you this promise. You're going to be so blessed. You're going to be tired of being blessed. I guarantee it.
The fight isn't over. Undoubtedly, there will be more adversity that Trump faces in the coming months and coming years. So please continue to pray for Donald Trump. And please continue to pray for America. I have a feeling they're not going to stop coming for him. We have to be ready. We have to pray up.